everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Weekend with Indian in Sydney, where we bring you engaging conversation with inspiring individuals who are making a lot of difference in our community. My name is Nadeem, and tonight we have a pleasure of welcoming a very true leader and a visionary, Irfan Malik. Irfan is president of New South Wales State Chapter of Australia India Business Council. He is passionate about fostering collaboration and driving positive change, which makes him a very valuable member of our community. Irfan also brings 20 years of experience in technology, leadership, innovation, and global business strategy. But before we dive into conversation with Irfan Bhai, I just want to take a moment to reflect on the incredible impact of our community engagement. As a member of Indian Sydney, we have a unique opportunity to come together and meet with these visionary leaders, share our stories, and support one another in a meaningful way. Whether it's through the culture events, networking opportunity, or great initiative done by these leaders. Sorry, I don't want to waste more of time. Without further ado, we would like to welcome Irfan Malik to our show. Irfan Bhai, it's a pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Warami, thank you, Nadeem Bhai. Warami, greetings, namaskar, salam, sat sri akar. Very excited and very thankful and humble to be part of this forum here, but also I really appreciate your work and the work of amazing community representatives and leaders who are really championing the cause of India and Australia-India relationship, and also really supporting the community, Indian diaspora as well at large, who are one of the fastest growing and the largest emerging in Australia. So very pleased to be on this forum, and look forward to having a very engaging conversation here.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what we are looking as well. Let's kick off things off with a question. I'm sure most of our viewers want to very curious. They want to know who is Irfan Malik, because it's a very familiar face. Wherever you go, you see Irfan Malik. But I believe a lot of members have this question in mind: who is Irfan Malik? Let's talk about that first.
Thank you, Nadeem. I originally am from India. I was born in Kerala. That's my roots, where I come from. But I had most of my upbringing and schooling and early life in Delhi. So I'm a very local Delhiite, Pakka Delhi wale, if I say, and true to heart, true Indian, passionate Indian. Grew up in India. Did my engineering in Coimbatore, down south. But went overseas, the heydays of tech and innovation booming in India, late 90s, pre Y2K days, I would say, if people remember the Y2K story. But yeah, worked early days at Satyam Computer Science, Services, which is one of the premier institutions there as a senior executive, and then moved over to the US for a brief period. Set up my tech consulting firm, and then obviously moved to Australia early, from US back to India and then to Australia. So essentially from New York to Newcastle was a bit of a story. I had those days moving to Australia way back 2000 2001, post the Olympics. So it's about nearly 23 years being here as part of the core Australian fabric, with obviously strong linkages back to our homeland, our home country, India, and also strongly building ties with Australia. So obviously come from a strong tech background myself, but my family, my dad was an educationist. He was a vice chancellor of one of the universities, and moved on to Delhi as a government secretary in the education sector. Held the various roles, various commissions, advisor to prime ministers and various ministerials, portfolios that he was advisor. Was one of the earliest Padma Shris from India, from Kerala, and he was awarded Padma Shri for his role in really promoting Hindi as the Raj Bhasha, or the national language, and someone coming from South as well. He was a true Gandhian, and someone who has inspired me quite a bit, and someone who really brought and always believed in strong bridge where the language of Hindi, could bring and unify India as a nation, and acknowledging that there are all these states who have their own languages, cultures, which we all have deep respect, but also Hindi as a unifying language as well. Someone who really believed in that and lived it to the entire extent of his life throughout. And through his network and legacy, I was fortunate to have great interaction with some amazing leaders who inspired me, including the honorable late president of India, who's inspired me enormously, Dr. APG Abdul Kalam ji. And in fact, my father's last book, which was called the Foundations of Composite Culture of India, Bharatvarsh ki Mili Juli Sanskriti, the Samasik Sanskriti, the composite culture it was focusing on. And that was released by the honorable president then as well. So definitely throughout my life, early career, though I was part of the tech innovation wave of India, I was inspired by definitely bringing the whole strong Indian community together. And wherever, even when I was in the US or even elsewhere throughout my career, have always looked at strong linkages back to India. And since being in Australia, being in the tech consulting space, had a consulting company, and through various iterations, I continue to have a tech advisory consulting firm with offshore development with our own centers and our global delivery partners in India. But also over the last 6-7 years, through my passion in the startup and innovation ecosystem, looking at the way India has transformed, the new India story, which has inspired me as well, and led by some of these amazing startups, not only the unicorn success stories, but also amazing growth story that we have. That's made me to build up InQ, which is a scale-up advisory supporting Australian scale-ups and companies to scale into India and Middle East market, and vice versa from Middle East and Indian market to support companies of all sizes, startup, SMEs, large, and some larger corporates as well, to handhold them to do the Australian market entry. And that's kind of led me to the real strong organization, which is Australia India Business Council, which through its rich history, to be part of it, to champion the growth and also real impact as well. So that's my bit of story. I have my beautiful wife, Tasneem, and two daughters, Noora and Nera. We have a beautiful family living in Sydney, and I've called Australia home and as a citizen for last 20 plus years. So that's a bit of my just enjoy my tours and travel around Australia, and I see this as the best country in the world after India, of course, with your homeland, your passion that binds you back to India. But definitely, that's something which I've cherished. That's a bit of me.
That's so wonderful to hear, Irfan. I'm sure a lot of our viewers won't ask this question. I'm sure they will. They are so happy to know about you. Now I just want to jump into AIBC. You are president of New South Wales State Chapter of AIBC, that's Australia India Business Council. It is one of the biggest organization in India-Australia relationship, but our viewer would like to know what AIBC is. I don't believe that normal day-to-day people know much about AIBC. Can you tell us a bit more about AIBC and some of the key initiatives and projects that AIBC have undertaken to strengthen the bilateral relationship between India and Australia, and how AIBC helps the normal day-to-day migrants or Indian Australians?
I think a very valid question, and it's something which we've been on a journey as well with AIBC. But with the background, Australian Business Council is the longest running bilateral, preeminent leading industry body, focusing on bilateral trade, investment, and business to business relationship as well. So definitely all those elements are key. And we've been the strongest and the longest running partner organization, industry partner organization, working hand in hand with the government and government agencies, whether it's trade investments or trade export promotions, all those organizations backed by government as well as the industry body, very closely on both Australian side predominantly, but also with strong linkages and outcome oriented, connects back in India and Indian agencies and Indian government as well. And we work closely with both the missions, Indian missions in Australia, the High Commission and the various consulates and their trade divisions, as well as the Australian missions in India, as in the Australian High Commission, the Australian consulates across the six regions, the six posts we have, and various trade and investment state-based agencies as well. So we work very closely with the government and government agencies to really promote trade investment at the top level, but also we go down to hand-holding businesses and industry groups to really scale their operation, their access, their entry bilaterally between the countries, I suppose. We are a national body present across Australia. We obviously don't have a direct chapter in Northern Territory and Tasmania yet, which we are working on. But the rest of the states, we have a strong presence with our own team, leadership team, a management committee, as well as various industry bodies, industry forums as well, focused on various industry sectors to really establish closer ties with the Australian ecosystem, and then really create awareness to champion them to scale into work with India, collaborate with India, make with India, and also partner with India. So that's kind of a bit of a story. We also have a national leadership as well, and I'm part of the national leadership as the national associate chair, and we've got Jody McKay as the national chair, the former opposition leader here from New South Wales, as the national chair, and we've got a national team as well, working closely with all the presidents of various state chapters to really drive this organization forward. Now, we've had obviously our own long history, as I said, 37 plus years, and it's again, we've had our own ups and downs, but most importantly, over the last 4 to 5 years, and most in particular the last 2 years, we have had a phenomenal kind of impact story as AIBC, but also bilaterally as well. When Australia and India kind of grew very closer just before COVID as well, where we elevated our relationship to comprehensive strategic partnership, relationship, where the message was clear from the government that we see these two nations collaborating and working closely for the growth of respective nations as well. So we saw Australia having a phenomenal growth, only working and closely partnering with India, and India also saw Australia as a great Western partner to really leverage the strong resources, strong technology, and a strength of a nation as Australia to partner, collaborate, and scale not only for the respective nation but also for global needs. And that's the whole story, where Australia and India saw each other for their complementarity of the opportunities that they could offer. So what India could offer, Australia wanted, and what Australia could offer, India wanted. So along these lines, obviously, AIBC was a perfect time, and for me as well, to be involved at that leadership level, to really work with both the governments, the government agencies, the trade promotion bodies, the industry bodies across various industry sectors, to really facilitate and accelerate on outcomes where government had done their thing of establishing the free trade agreement, and we had the early comprehensive trade agreement, which was signed, end of 2022, December. And since then, we have seen an accelerated growth in trade and investment. But, it is a fact that obviously when two nations are working to enhance their collaboration and trade across sectors which they have not traditionally traded, there will be certain nuances, challenges to get through. And that's where, again, AIBC as an industry partner works closely with the businesses, industry body, government to really streamline, smoothen, and get some runs on the board. That's my vision as well, and what I've really worked hard. And a lot of people ask me, is this your full-time role? I mean, I've been dedicating, and this is a pro bono honorary role, and all this is a not-for-profit organization. But our passion and our strong belief that this is a great time for both nations to come, and now that the government has delivered their outcome, the relationship, it's for the industry body and organizations such as us and leaders such as us to really collaborate. And again, just to your point, where how does this, what does this mean, AIBC mean for the rest of the community and people? And I just want to call out, and this is my outreach and humble outreach. AIBC, whilst it's an industry body, we deal with businesses and large government, but it's not just exclusive to a group of people or group of companies. I would say it's open for everyone, every community, every Australian, every Indian, and most importantly, a strong role for Indian diaspora, whether they are students, whether they are professionals, whether they're working as corporates, across a corporate organization, or they're running SMEs, they're running large companies, or they're part of a multinational, whatever, as a senior, executive or part of a board. All of them have a role to play, because this new India story and this relationship that we are curating and we are really trying to leverage outcome and impact. This is once in a lifetime, and everyone has a role to play. I mean, I'll just give an example. If the students are here, I would strongly encourage them to reach out to AIBC or our member organizations to really do internship or projects works as part of your studies, which involves Australia-India relationship, which involves Australia-India trade or some kind of business or some kind of activity. If you're a professional, you want to look at where you can, within the organization you're working, again, enhance the potential for Australia-India trade. Your SMEs, look out for how you've not thought about export or import. Now look at how you can, based on your network or your expertise, you can look at championing with partnering with India, or vice versa. You could work with some Indian companies, how you can scale as well. And this whole opportunity, and I'll probably delve later in course of this session, this new India, which I'm really, projecting in Australia and creating this awareness, this India is ready to invest in Australia. And you'll be amazed by the interest I've seen in Australian companies, where they're also now waking up to the fact that this new India is ready to invest invest into Australia across the value chain. I mean, we're not looking at just taking the resources, do all the value addition in India. I mean, that was the traditional thing, and it would continue to, certain sectors. But most of the sectors we are looking at, where India is also ready to invest into, even if it's critical minerals, but into refining and bit more in the value chain, and then partner with India to scale, not only to service Indian market, but other fringe markets like Central Asia, Middle East, rest of Asia, and Africa as well. So this is a great opportunity for everyone, and I strongly believe everyone has a role. It's just about reaching out and exploring and being part of various forums. And in fact, we have a lot of online forums, physical hybrid forums as well, where there's an opportunity for everyone to be partnering and collaborating on this new opportunity. So I'll pause there, but I'll look forward to delving a bit more deeper further.
Great. This is so insightful for everyone. Irfan, you work very closely with Indian diaspora, and as a community leader, what do you believe are the most pressing issues faced by the Indian diaspora in Sydney, and how, I mean, I believe you have covered most of it, but how can an organization like AIBC address these challenges?
I think if I were to look at the journey of a diaspora, and there could be various entry point. It could be as a student, it could be as a professional, or it could be as an investor migrant, or a global talent visa migrant, or purely a business interest that you are involved with Australia, or you're just you're part of second, third generation diaspora as well. All of them have a different story. So it's essentially where as I touched on, is looking at a broader perspective. One, again, I would want to call myself, while I'm a strong, passionate Indian by heart, but a true Australian, I believe everyone is a global citizen. So looking at global opportunity and how us being here in Australia, we could curate something big, something larger. And looking out beyond your comfort circle. So as a student, just not ticking the box of what you need to do an assignment and stuff. I mean, I did my MBA here, when I made sure that at least a significant portion of my MBA was real-time projects. So please do reach out and leverage this Australia-India opportunity, and see how you can be working closely as a student intern, or even as a professional student, work with our member organization, where you have exposure to these opportunities as well. And we want to really create some amazing startup founders And my dream is to have more Australian Indian staff founders. And we know, I mean, just coming to Sydney Startup Hub or one of those entrepreneurial ecosystem, you see a lot of Indian diaspora, first generation, second generation as well. And we need more of them as well. So definitely that's one journey I would say that they can be part when they're part of universities. All the universities are a member organization, most of them are, and where we want to create internship pathways with for these students as well, not only Indians, but all students, but definitely around leveraging Australia India story. Professionals, of course, you are here as part of either the business visa or in some kind of short visa or even a long-term visa. You're here for a purpose to service the companies that you are servicing here. But there again, looking at how much more you can do with India, really creating that awareness about this new India story. Everyone needs to talk about, and I know these days in our professional work life, we see all the festivals being celebrated. So whether it is Holi, Diwali, Eid, Rakhi, all of them being celebrated along with the other major mainstream Christmas, Easter as well. So definitely good to see, and then really talk up about our culture, the strength of what India brings beyond just our tech and innovation. That really builds that strong bonds, and we want to curate those kind of strong relationship as well. Now, in terms of businesses, I really would like to encourage, because this is new India, and a lot of people who have come here and established their businesses, they were dealing with India, which was about 15 years back. In fact, a lot of Australians would have done backpacking 15, 20 years or 30 years back, including our prime minister's early trips were those days. But every time I go to India, every 3, 6 months, I see a transformation that's phenomenal. And this is something every Australian Indian need to be part of. And we want to facilitate that. And every part of the community, every diaspora, they have a role to really project within their neighborhood, within their community, and take a real leadership role, and with an entrepreneurial mindset as well, and how we can help this corner shop or this small business and connect them with the India market opportunity, because this India brings scale, and these small businesses here haven't seen anything of that scale in their lifetime. So definitely facilitating, hand holding, all of those are opportunities. And AIBC as an organization can be a platform where you can leverage some of these opportunities or leverage the partners that we can curate here and in India, handhold them, and then we will really support them with various policies, procedures, or even with government agencies, some of the grants that they have, but also where there are industry body programs that are support programs are there, we can connect them with those and support them as well. So huge opportunity for everyone across the walks of life. And again, I recommend that the community at large, the Indian diaspora, actively engages, and also with, and I'll be amazed, I'll be failing in my duty. I want to strongly acknowledge all the leaders across the party lines. I mean, bipartisan support that we have for Indians and Indian community and diaspora from all walks of the political circle and the government as well. It's just phenomenal across all parties. Whatever the outcomes of election or whatever it is, definitely there is a strong support from Australia, all walks, and that's something which we need to acknowledge, and we need to actively engage with the government, all both sides of government, and really champion the India story as well, and expose them to opportunities and connections where they can amplify the message as well. So that's what I would really call out.
That is just amazing advice for all our young professional students and entrepreneurs who are actually looking to explore and engage with AIBC. It takes me to the next question, Irfan. Can you share us any upcoming initiative or events that AIBC has planned for in near future, and how our viewers, our normal viewers, can get involved?
Yeah, sure. As I said, AIBC has got this strong bilateral trade investment, business to business connect role. And as part of that, there are kind of three folds, if I were to aggregate our approach and our strategy. One is to really play that advocacy role to really promote this Australia-India relationship and promote these opportunities that we have bilaterally across major sectors and across all the micro sectors. So ranging from clean energy, agri, food, pharma, medtech, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, defense, space tech, critical and emerging technologies, of course, and then mining and mining tech being some of the major sectors. So really promoting as an advocate, as an industry advocate on these opportunities, both sides, we play that role. Second is we also facilitate in business to business matching as well. So where there is an opportunity, we have certain requirements for Australian manufacturers to partner with India, or Indian manufacturer who are looking to get some resources from India, or some of the Australian companies looking for investments from India, or vice versa. All these opportunities come through to us, and we would love to do the business matching. And I strongly believe, and one of the pioneers in the bilateral story and engagement story was the former High Commissioner from Australia to India, Dr. Peter Varghese, who touched on and in fact he was the one author who led the whole India Economic Strategy 2020, which kind of really paved the way for further engagement, structured engagement between the nations. He also called out that obviously for Australia relationship, especially looking to partner with India, you have the 4 Ps, which is important. Obviously, a lot of preparation, planning, which is required. There's a lot of perseverance required, but most importantly, finding the right partners, both sides. I mean, this is not, and I don't say that whilst it's easy to set up companies and launch here in Australia, but still for you to be successful, scale, to get your first client, to get your pilot project, and then build on your growth story, it takes a while, and it takes the right partners you can have on board, right advisors you can have on board, right board that you can set up as well. All those comes into play, and here having those partnerships established as well, AIBC plays a role, a facilitator role. And then third level, we also go and handhold some of these companies as well, because we believe in curating success stories and creating that outcome. And recently we have launched several companies or supported launch of several companies across the ecosystem, across clean energy. We work with Smart Energy Council, and we facilitated quite a lot of opportunities. Agri food, we have had a lot of food processing companies, agri companies as well, working closely with India, and vice versa. Pharma, medtech is a huge sector, and India is the pharma capital of the world. Obviously, rest of the Western ecosystem, they are leveraging, and Australia has got a lot more to go, and we are doing it at multi-levels. We are working closely with Pharmacy Guild to really create awareness within the sourcing supply chain that you've got to partner, especially generic medicine or over-the-counter medicine. It's a huge opportunity. And Australia, with its quality, perceived quality, and top, best standards in the world, globally, it is well received and well respected. So imagine having the Australian quality, Australian formulation, Australian technology certified with TGA. Then India scaled the manufacturing capability, how much we can really leverage, not only for Australia, but also for India with those quality products, and then also service other markets as well, which are fringe markets with, across India or Indian subcontinent or the Central Asia and Middle East. So these are some things we can do. What we also do, and which is something which I want to call out, is we do these outreach programs and industry series that we do, and where we are partnering with Investment New South Wales or our trade investment bodies, the Indian missions there, Consulate and High Commission, and partner with Invest India as well in India. And we have these hybrid virtual information series about various sectorial or industry sector-based opportunities, something which you can come online, and most of them are online, are all free to join, and you can leverage. And there are some amazing cues as well as opportunities that are shared, and that you can all leverage, being part of it. There are also, please do visit our website and our social media platform as well, where we'll have more of these information shared. But also what we are doing, I think first of its kind, is, again, because I believe in this India story, we are taking this whole India awareness approach to the regional towns as well. In our cities, we obviously come to know a lot more about India, and we've got hubs like the Little India and other, and there's a business community there. and various other community organizations, a lot of professionals all there. We hear about a lot more of India story, but the regional towns, there's amazing opportunities for some of those businesses and local residents to partner with India. We want them to be aware about these India opportunities as well. So we are taking delegations and including government representatives, state representative, myself and my team as well, with a group of businesses to travel to the regional towns, really promote the India opportunities, and then explore and do a bit of a discovery of where some of those early low-hanging fruits are there for creating this successful outcomes, and we do those outreach as well. And then the other is definitely we do larger community interaction as well, closely working with our missions both here in India. It's something which is again we'll do an outreach, and we can partner. We're collaborating with education institutions who also want to work closely with the community as well broadly, and those will be all the opportunities where you can all plug in. But please do reach out, and we have a very energized team looking for supporting and curating successful impactful outcomes for businesses, SMEs, but community at large as well as part of this bilateral story.
Great, thank you so much. Some of very beautiful initiative. It's very clear, Irfan, that AIBC is playing a very crucial role in advancing the bilateral relationship between Australia and India. Now, Irfan bhai, as a community leader, how do you believe groups like Indian in Sydney can contribute to the local community and society as large? And also would like to know how long you've been part of Indian in Sydney.
Yeah, I think one of the thing, kudos to you and your team and the entire community at Indians in Sydney, that it's a very close knit, very focused, outcome oriented, support oriented, and that passion to support each other. I mean, when I moved here to Australia, to Newcastle, there were hardly few people in Newcastle, but we formed a group, and even we received some of the students from the airport, plugging them with opportunities. Some of the guys obviously picked up some part-time jobs, but we supported them through our network, and created some kind of a support ecosystem. And that's something which I'm really pleased that obviously there are various community groups and Facebook forums and stuff which all have a role to play, and I compliment them for that. But Indians in Sydney in particular, which really had got me excited and also really be pleased to know about, is your focus on supporting the broader community, embracing the Australian way of life, supporting them through that ecosystem, and helping them really adopt and blend in into the Australian way of life, but also really holding our values as Indians that we bring strong as well, and our friendship as well, and the whole camaraderie and the community spirit that brings together with the group is something which is commendable, and that's something which really personifies from a business perspective AIBC. So a lot of complementarity there, and we would love to collaborate. And as I said, depending on what your stage is in terms of your entry into Australia or to Sydney, for that matter, would love to explore opportunities where you can plug into this growth story. Even if you're a new entrant to migrant to Australia, we would, whether it is your getting some internship or exposure to some projects, or even I believe, and this is something I'm thankful to the Almighty and for the divine blessings, that I've had some great friends and network and great people I've worked across all communities, all faiths, all walks of life, who have helped me not only influence my growth story, but also that network of friends that is such a great value, across all communities I'm talking about, and they are ones who really help your growth story. And I believe this is something we can all add value. I mean, as business professionals or entrepreneurs or leaders, that we can support this Indians in Sydney ecosystem, depending on what stage they are. Whether to guide them on opportunities coming up. I mean, I've had several conversations. I enjoy my conversations and with folks in my Uber rides or being in the taxi. I just talk to all the people and get to know them and where they are. And some of them are doing various kinds of studies. I would say, if you're interested in some opportunities, have you thought about cybersecurity or AI ML or some specific opportunity coming up in advanced manufacturing? Some of those things, just explore and see if that interests you. And of course, down the line, you will have some opportunities. So bouncing off or even sharing some of those opportunities, something we can do, where there are some business leads as well, where we have got a lot of requests coming through across. I mean, every day I get so many calls from India here on opportunities, which we'll be happy to share with Indians in Sydney, where if there are people interested, they could take it up and then run with that opportunity and things like that. So definitely keen to collaborate. That's the key thing. Collaboration is something I'm looking for, and leveraging. And this is a thing I've lived through. Leveraging your network, whether it's LinkedIn or any of your network, to really and with your passion and the right intent, you can really work through and get some good outcomes as well. And I mean, the worst is someone will say no, but at least no harm in asking, whether you have your network or someone in your network who could fulfill this opportunity, or who may be the best fit to service this opportunity, things like that. So those are things I would love to explore. But yeah, as I said, I'm really keen to support as well. So this is where, as a someone with strong Indian values, family values as well, and a very close, multicultural values as well, strong, diversity values as well. I would love to collaborate, bring everyone. I've been always a inclusive person right through my childhood. I've grown up that way. Been in India, across India. I was a KV product Kendra Vidyalaya product, where from all over India were part of my class room. So definitely, I'm an inclusive person, and I would love to really relay that to Indians in Sydney and all those community groups who can leverage and be part of this Australia story. So that's my outreach and call out to you to collaborate and leverage our network intelligence.
Very well said, Irfan. Kudos to you. I would like to clap for amazing work
Thank you.
you're doing. Before we wrap up, I think you have covered everything. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience, or any final thought you'd like to leave us with?
I mean, it's an exciting time. So obviously, I wish you all well. And obviously, yeah, one of the things which, again, my story as well, whenever I go to India, I take some opportunities to India and then bring back opportunities as well. So when you are going to India or, connecting with people in India, always sound bored. I mean, in fact, I go to weddings in India and I see people talking about startup opportunities and ideas and how much I've raised investment, what VC I'm talking about. It's all exciting to hear. And I think, no harm. And you just, share that passion as well. And I know, and some people are introverts and some people are extrovert, but no harm in, doing a bit of an outreach and explore how you can be part of this bilateral story. And as AIBC, we will be very pleased to welcome you all to our forums, and where there is opportunities to share, to learn, and be together collaboratively create that outcome. I believe in getting runs on the board right through, get some low-hanging fruits that builds up momentum, confidence, and then grow from there is what I would say. So Australia is a great nation, and so if you're here in whatever capacity, this is great that you have chosen Australia, and then bringing your strong Indian network will be much well respected and very welcomed in Australia. And we've got next 15, 20 years and beyond to curate something amazing together, in Australia with India. So thank you, and thank you for having me, and look forward to closely interacting in some form or shape in different forums. I'm sure, we'll meet up and we'll support each other. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Irfan, for joining us and sharing your valuable insight with our audience. It has been a pleasure speaking to you.
Namaskar, and wish you all well.
Thank you so much. And that's all the time we have for tonight edition of Weekends in Indian in Sydney. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Irfan Malik and found it as inspiring as I did and we did. Join us next time for more insightful discussion with members of our community. Until then, take care and stay well. Good night.